Okay, so how is everyone? Welcome. Okay, good. All right, so we made it. A little minute late, but that's okay. It's I'm gonna take that as a win. So we're gonna wait just a few minutes and see if anyone can join us, and we'll start the show about Danburite. Okay, so all right, so turn the speaker down a little bit. See if that makes a difference. So we have a few people on. Got 2 people. So if you're willing to be a little bit frisky, if you'll just tell me that you're here and just say hello, and we can do a little bit of a chat about Danburite. Hopefully you're here for that. If not, stick around. You might learn a thing or two about Danburite and fall in love with a different crystal. If you are here too, and if you'd like to share out our show, I'd really appreciate that. Shares, likes, follows, all of that is really appreciated. It really helps us get out to others that may not be aware of the type of show that we offer. We're doing something different on Wednesdays. It's a 30-minute show, and it focuses on just one crystal, and I choose them based upon, what I feel like we're needing as a group to talk about. But if there's something that you're wanting to bring into your collection, and you want the opportunity to go in depth about what the properties are, then send me a DM and I'll look into the crystals, see if we have it in stock. If not, I might have to order some just to be able to offer it to everyone. And then, of course, do my intel just to see if it's something that I resonate with. It's just like anything else. Some people connect with a stone and others don't. So, but we do have a pretty good selection already. So I'm hoping that whatever you're looking for, we already have. But if not, it gives me an opportunity to find something else. So I'm open to all possibilities. So we're just a few minutes after 7, so we're just going to take a pause and then try and see if we can come up with a time where we can start the conversation. So with Wendell's setup, I'm pretty excited about how we're displaying the crystals. We're learning more and more every day. We're not professional, photographers, Facebook Live people either. So it's a learning experience every day. Every time we have a show, Wendell's learning something, and he is just amazing. I'm just so fortunate to have him as the technical aspect of our team. I am just not inclined, not interested, don't have the capacity to pick it up either. So he picked it up really well. Hi, Michelle. How are you? So happy to have you. Yeah, so we have a few other people on. Thank you so much for joining. I'm really happy that your package arrived. I was just really when I see things like that, my heart kind of stutters a little bit. Like, oh no, please let the crystals make it to their rightful owner. Um, I think we've only had one package in the 4.5 years we've been doing this that didn't make it to the owner that I'm aware of. But to be fair, um, they actually didn't change their address before it was shipped. They had an old address in PayPal, so they put in a notice to get it redirected, and it just didn't work out well. Anyhow, so but yeah, I'm really happy that it worked for you. So we have a few people on. So anyone else want to just say hello? I'd love to hear who's here. It's not, no under obligation. I just like to put a name to the number, if you will. But what I'm going to do is go ahead and get started because the show's only for 30 minutes. Yeah, and so what, Michelle, from what I've been, they're cutting back on their staff, whatever that reason is, I'm not sure. So there are people that just don't have the understanding of what happens when they give somebody's mail to somebody else, right? So it's devastating in a lot of ways. So I'm really happy, though, your neighbor is just so kind that they kept it for you and gave it to you. That in itself is an amazing thing to happen, because a lot of people would just not even admit that they received it and just keep it for themselves. So I'm really happy that it made it to you, and now you can enjoy those crystals. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to shift our focus a little bit. So I'm going to transition over here to the crystals at hand. So this is Danburite. So I picked out a few samples that we have in our inventory, and there's two sections. This is the $10 section and the 15. Of course, the attributes are going to be the same. I did post on Instagram this picture yesterday, so I did have one get sold before the show, so that's missing. But I'll go through each one of them in just a minute and highlight them. So what I'll do is I will take this guy here and just put him at the beginning so that we can see it up front and center. Right, so this is D1, and it's for $15. And I'm just going to be going back and forth to the chat so that I can see if there's any questions y'all might have. But just know that if you want to stop, pause, ask for a specific crystal that I may not have put in the order that, I'm going to do it numerical, but we can go to like D8 and go out of order. It's not a problem at all. But my mind works logically in a lot of ways, so I have to do things in order. So Danburite. I don't know if you've ever worked with Danburite before, but I've had a personal piece in my collection for quite a while. And then I was actually called to bring one in for my healings. And I attributed the Danburite crystal to the crown chakra. And the healings that I've done using Danburite, in addition to other crystals, have been very powerful. I was really surprised at how this innocent looking stone can carry such power with it. And I deliberately chose it for the crown chakra and laid it on the crown chakra during my healings. And the specific healing that I do is for reading. So I asked the crystal to do a reading on the energy point of the person, and in this case it would be on the crown chakra as it relates to Danburite. And then I use other crystals as well, but the Danburite has the ability to connect with the crown chakra extremely well, and then communicate back to me and potentially others as well that would take this modality, and let me know what the client needs in order to connect in a stronger way with their crown chakra. So I considered it a bridge, all the crystals that I use in this particular readings. So Danburite is an amazing crystal for that in itself. But because I'm doing focus crystals, I wanted to give you more information about what Danburite is from my perspective and what I've been able to research and potentially give you some options on how to use it if you've not before, or even if you have. I would love to hear your input. So this is not Tina's Law, and I honestly believe that crystals have their own personality traits. So what you research doesn't necessarily mean that that crystal's in a box and cannot have any other attributes or any other personality traits or be anything but what you're reading. Don't limit your crystal because you're not limited, and so I don't think crystals should be either. But this is just a sample of what the Danburites can do for us. Hey Linda, how are you doing? So this one is D1. So I'm just going to turn this over and give you just a look at its backside. So this is D1. So this is $15. And I'm going to then choose D2 and just give it a minute in the sun and let y'all take a look at that while I start discussing some of the attributes of Danburite. So one thing I love about Danburite, it is actually, I mentioned earlier about it being a bridge. So it's actually a bridge between the physical and spiritual world. So it actually is almost like a conduit. So it's a connector. So when you're working with your spirit guides, not necessarily in the crown chakra, but just as a connection, Danburite will help you build that stronger connection. If you're kind of feeling at a loss on how to proceed with a connection, then Danburite will assist you. So just keep that in mind if you are struggling, you just can't seem to make the connection. It's almost like you pick up the phone and you're dialing and no one's on the other end, but you know that that phone number is for them. It's that type of connector. So Danburite is an amazing crystal for that. So I think that would be one of my top 10 attributes of Danburite. So this one that I'm showing is D3, and it's also for $15. Another thing about Danburite that I would like to offer to you is that because it connects to the crown chakra, it also does an extremely versatile movement on the heart chakra. So it connects the heart to the crown. And because of that, the crown is all about your conscious and your mind and how you process, where your heart is all about emotion. So because of that, the Danburite actually allows you to process any emotion with a clear and conscious mind. So it just like, okay, so I know sometimes we get overwhelmed with how our heart is reacting and our mind isn't even engaged in a situation, whereas the Danburite, I think, really brings that all together. So that was D3. Okay. Oh, wow. So I'm going to read Michelle's comment. And thank you, Michelle, for sharing this because I know it makes you vulnerable. So Michelle says that she thinks this stone is amazing. Her little piece helps when feeling melancholy from missing her daughter and grandparents. She had it in one day. I picked it up and it's been your buddy since then. Yeah, I know. It's really one of those stones that it's not eye-catching, although it has some beauty to it if you look deep enough. But it's not really, it doesn't have a lot of pizzazz or, it's not flashy in any way. But I think it's almost like a subdued grace in a lot of ways. So this is D4. D4, I think, is one of my favorites because, wait till you see it, it has druzy. Which I really like that. And so, Michelle, when you mentioned that Danburite actually helps you start laughing, because it actually allows you to laugh at life even under the most difficult circumstances. And so when you're missing your daughter and your grandparents, that's difficult, right? But Danburite kind of helps soften that mood a little bit and allows you to relax into the moment so that you can find laughter. And laughter is a great stress reliever. So this is the back side of this one. So it's a really pretty piece. So D4 is really pretty. So what I found interesting about Danburite is that it actually works really well for relationships, which I'm going to make a mention of marriage. You know, marriage is a difficult, a challenging commitment, right? So when you've committed to somebody, it's for well, eternity in some regards, but certainly for the lifetime. It's a commitment. So it does help build harmony and stability, and it helps you also overcome any antagonistic attitudes you might have, so you become more cooperative. So this is D5. I'm going to turn D5 over. Allow me to show its backside. There we go. There, it's focused. Yeah, there it goes. So this is D5. And if you ever have a problem setting boundaries, Danburite can also help you with that. It helps you establish or acknowledge and embrace your personal power. I'm going to set him down just a little bit. So, and when you do that, it actually helped you establish those boundaries with others. It kind of eliminates or prohibits them from taking advantage of you. So I'm trying to move which I have a tendency to not be able to say no in a lot of ways, right? Or, you know, or I'll volunteer for things that really are not my responsibility, you know, especially at work. I'm like, oh, I can do that for you when it's actually someone else's role or department. So that was D6. And then we're going to look at D7. So now we're looking at the $10 range. Because I can tell that Danburite has a soothing energy for a lot of us, and this is the little tag is on the other side. Let me see if I can get it. Well, not so much, looks like. The way he's laying. I'll just have to tell you that that's D7. I'm going to turn this around. So, because it's such a soothing stone, it actually is going to help soothe your emotional body. So if you're ever uptight or anxious, Danburite is going to help you in comforting you, and actually it's almost like a call on your angel, and so it'll bring in that angelic rescue, and it'll help you settle in, settle down, and know that, you know, whatever is going to happen, your guides and your angels are going to be there to help, you know, guide you through the situation. So this is D8. And so we have D7 through D12, and these are for $10 each. I really like his little top there. I'm going to move this down a little bit, and then I'm going to turn it over. Yeah, I think that will work out better. Give you more of a And so you can see down this side here, it actually has some inclusions. One thing I'm working on, and I think that Danburite can certainly help me with, is gratitude. And what embodies gratitude is not just being grateful, but it's also receiving help from others, which I really think that that's hard for me personally, is not asking for help. I think that I have to do it on my own. It's almost like, okay, if I don't step up and accomplish this on my own, then I'm not deserving of the rewards. That's my own personal, burden. But I think Danburite is one of those crystals that, because it helps with the feelings of gratitude and gratefulness, it almost helps me. And the fact is that I can then ask for help, because it's almost like releasing the burden of responsibility of carrying everything on my shoulders, whereas I can ask others for help if needed. So this little guy is really cool. So this one's D9. And a lot of times we talk about preventing negative energy from entering our aura or our space. But I like to offer this approach instead. Instead of saying preventing negative energy, I would suggest that we instead absorb positive energy. So if we're like a sponge, right? So if we're absorbing positive energy, then the thought would be that there's no room for negative energy. If we're filled with positive energy, then the negative energy can't assist. So because Danburite connects your heart chakra to your crown chakra, it'll actually assist you in only absorbing positive energy. So I'm going to turn this guy over. This is D10. Yes, so we've done D8. Yes, ma'am, we have. And then the last one to showcase is D12. And this is also for 10. So we have them sectioned out. I have a $15 price point, and then a $10 price point. And so Michelle's going to take D8. Thank you, Michelle. So what we're showing right now is D12. I'm going to turn him over. What you see is backside, or her backside. I haven't connected with the crystals, so I'm not really sure if there's a specific gender that they go by. But I'm sure most of them, they're either, male or feminine, male or female, or they're a blend. When I first, hey Lucinda, when I first started pulling these together, I realized how it was such a calming stone in so many ways. I'm going to switch the view so that we can see all of them. And then that'll give you an opportunity to ask for anything that... Danburite, yes ma'am, Danburite. When I first started pulling them out, I was immediately, I felt a sense of calm. Um, and it's an interesting stone. So it's not like one of the comatose calmness, you know, it's just like, it's like a fresh, deep breath of air calm, you know, it just like, so, okay, so not, I can't say that it makes you feel like everything's right with the world, because I don't know that it would ever be that way. We reached a stage in our life where, um, you know, it's really difficult to say that everything's all right with the world. So this is for Lucinda. She's asked to see D6. But it does help to just be able to take a breath and know that everything is going to be okay. You know, it's not overwhelming. You know, I do have resources. Linda's going to take D2 and D7. Thank you, Linda, very much. So D2, here's D2. Oh, that was D12 I took. Let's see. D2 and D7. Thank you, Linda, very much. So I think that when we look at, you know, life and, you know, everything that it has to offer. Oh, Linda, D7 has rainbows. I was just looking at that. Like, oh my gosh. And Lucinda's going to take D6. Thank you, Lucinda. Um, sorry, I was blinded by the rainbows over here, guys. Kind of it's like one of those squirrel moments. You're like, oh, I'm just going to hang my mouth open in awe. And forget that I need to be talking. Um, but so the Danburite itself is one of those stones that it's almost like a mother's hug, that type of crystal. You know, it's just like it soothes the aches you might have. Any others that have rainbow? Let's see. What I'm going to do is I'm going to change let's see here. This is D9. It looks like, oh yes, D10, D10. I just found D10, so okay, D10. Come on, little guy. I need like it's right up in here. Yeah, next time I have a show, I'll make sure I have a pointer. Yeah, D10. Yeah, it's a pretty piece too. I love the shape. I like that it has a point on it. Actually, the other one you got has a point on it. That's really interesting. Thank you, Lucinda. Yeah, so Danburite. So Michelle has Danburite. Anyone else have Danburite in your personal collection already? And if you do, I would love to hear your experiences with it. Because what I've found so far, um, it's an unassuming crystal, which I like that about it. It's elegant, it's classy, it's not in your face. Um, I like that it was discovered in the U.S. I'm going to be saying that in a partial way, in Danbury, Connecticut, which I think is amazing. It's found in other places now. And it's actually a hard stone too, so it looks delicate, and I'm gonna equate that to us. So we we might look delicate, but we are strong. We've got a backbone. You know, we've got strength within us, and we can overcome the situations that are presented to us. So I really appreciate that about Danburite. And so I kind of take the analogy of it equating to us as humans. Um, I don't know if you feel like that or if you've, heard about that before, but I really appreciate the fact that crystals can embody us and we can embody crystals. And I think that working together, we can take its strength and it can take our strengths as well. And because of that, we can merge together to become even a stronger energy body. Ah, yeah. Um, you know what, Linda? I don't think I've ever used my Danburite on a grid, but I love that idea. I certainly do. I can actually see it as being a center stone and setting. I think the stone in the grid sets the stage. It's almost like the manager of the company. You know, the manager sets the tone of the whole office. So that's what I think of when I look at the center stone in a grid. It really sets the stone, the intention. So yeah, so I can see that. So I certainly am going to try that. Um, the next full moon, I've actually started to put together some thoughts on what I want to use, which crystals, and certainly the intention that I want to create for the grid. I think that's the one of the exciting parts about building grids is that the whole preparation that you have to put together, and all the crystals you pull together, the intention, the day, the timing, the setup, and then the tear down. Ah, ooh, nice. Oh, I'm so happy. Yeah, I was able to get that Faden quartz to you. Oh man, I am definitely need to step up my game. Lucinda, I don't know if y'all can see what her comments are, but get a grip, right? It's like, okay, snap out of it. It's not that bad. I mean, I think the crystal's saying, we've got this. 5 Danburites. Well, I mean, you can see what I have in my inventory, but I have 2 pieces of Danburite. Maybe so. Maybe so. Yeah, the other Danburite that I have is currently in um, I guess you would consider it a grid. It's not your normal grid, but it was set with intention of supporting our house being built, um, making sure that everything went well, that all the people that were involved had a positive mindset, that they were building our home with care and thoughtfulness. And so that's one of the things that I added the Danburite for, was to help encourage that mindset, because I think it's really important. I have Danburite, I also have citrine, I have a piece of morganite, which is one of my prized possessions, and um, I also have a tiger eye, but the Danburite was one that I thought was critical. And then, of course, the other piece of Danburite I have is for my healings that I do. So that one I consider almost to be a surgeon in a lot of ways. Um, it's one of my practical pieces. Yeah. If you can have a spiritual practical piece in the same thing, I'm not really sure, but it works for it. So I think y'all would understand what I'm trying to say. So it's a practical spiritual tool. I don't know if that makes sense, but that's how I see it. So Yeah, so Linda, I would love to hear your experiences with the grid. Yeah, so I know, and I know we were doing our crystal conversations on Tuesday, and then I wanted to start doing this on Wednesday, and so there's just not enough days in my week. Um, so maybe we just need to start like a grid group. I don't know. I know that there's several out there in Facebook world, um, but I did enjoy that for sure. That was really fun talking about grids and the sharing the ideas and all that. But okay, so that was my thoughts on Danburite and how they come into being. Let me change the view so we have some, you know, just take a look at these guys, these beauties, instead of a blank screen. Yeah, so it's really important, I think, for um, us to use these tools that have been presented to us. The crystals are there waiting for us to, put them to work. And Danburite, I think, has a lot to offer. I haven't come across any more, Lucinda, but I will definitely keep you in mind when I do come across them. CD9. Yes, ma'am. Let me move this. Let me give you better view. Hey, Brenda. Of course I would. So we have $15 range and a $10 range. Do you have a preference? Sold D9. Oh, you know what? And you've got a rainbow in the middle too, Lucinda. $15. Um, okay, so I'm gonna show you the one that I really like. This says Druzy, which you'll see. Look at the Druzy. So what that shiny bit says, it's not the camera, the lights. That's actually Druzy. It's gorgeous. So if you don't have any objections, Brenda, I really think you're going to enjoy this one. Thank you, hon. D12. That is pretty too. Man, that would be tough. All right, perfect. Thank you, Brenda. I think I'm going to have to choose one for myself, too. You know how that is, especially as we're talking about grids. Um, you always need centerpieces, anchor pieces. I think I do need to definitely get a pointer. I have to find some type of stylus so I can point out the pretties and not use my finger, because then it's really hard to focus on them. I know they are gorgeous. I think D1's calling me. Let me show you D1. Let me turn this one over, and then I'll show you D1 and what I'm looking at, and see if you all agree with me. So this is D1. And I'm going to use a pen. It's not the most elegant. Oh, yeah, he's actually too big. I'm going to move him up. Yep. So right in this area here, it's like a ledge. And it's like a ledge of ice. I don't know, something about this one I'm really attracted to. Yep, I think so. It's just it's so beautiful. It's like ice. Wow. Oh my gosh, guys, it's already 7:42. I am so happy that you've been able to come and stay with me this long. I really am so appreciative. And I hope that y'all enjoyed the show and my thoughts. I think so too, Linda. I really do. Because if I let him go, I'm going to regret it. So it's one of those things. So yeah, I think I will keep that one out for me. Oh no, Sherry, no problem. Yeah, I appreciate you joining. I hope that you can listen to the replay. And I would love to hear your thoughts on the presentation, and what I found about Danburite, and how it can be beneficial for us. I certainly appreciate everyone's input on that, because I'm not an expert in crystals, and so I really appreciate y'all giving me your insight, because I don't think there is one expert out there. I think all of us coming together and sharing our experiences is what how we learn about crystals. Yes, ma'am. Thank you so much. So I will go ahead and let y'all go, and tell you thank you so much for joining me, and I hope you can join me again next Wednesday. I have another special crystal to present to you. It's going to be orange quartz. It's extremely fiery. So I think we're going to need that right before the holidays. We're going to need some passion in our lives. So check in with me next Wednesday for some orange quartz. So thank you again, guys. I really appreciate it. And I'll get you invoiced either after the show or tomorrow. And thank you again. I appreciate it. And if you know anybody that would like this style of conversation and show, I would love to have them join us. So if you could spread the word, I would really appreciate it. Good night, Brenda. Thank you so much. Blessings, Linda. Oh, let me show my face before I let y'all go. So yes, thank you so much, guys. I really appreciate it. I certainly think that I wouldn't be doing this without you. So all of your support and contributions really is so special, and I do so much appreciate it. So thank you again, and I hope to see you again soon. Good night, y'all.